marketing MBA in the country has figured out how to talk about anything but price. I mean, they do all this stuff, but it always comes down to price. That's been the race to the bottom. And yet, you know, we don't all care about price. Okay? And the card can have the rich metadata about why this bundle of value is significant in the context. And that way we can get away from this race to the bottom and maybe start selling American goods again.
Can we make things?
We got two more, and then we need to let Tim get back to his talk.
So the question, this is actually a feature request for Kynetx. Maybe it already exists, but as people are saying, just turn off the card. It's not going to be obvious, you know, like the Land's End thing. Maybe it's a Land's End card, but maybe it's your employee discount card, or maybe, who knows what card it is you have. So you really want to be able to right-click that little pop-up and have it visually show you which card or cards is causing that to pop up. So just a little feature request.
Okay, I have a question, and it's probably a very simplistic one because I missed yesterday. But I guess my question was, I loved it. I remember one of the first things that the Kynetx guys showed me was this one where, you know, you had the earbuds.
We showed that yesterday. Yeah, the Bose demo.
Yeah, so, you know, I thought this was the coolest thing since sliced bread, so I took it around and I was showing people, hey, look at this. And, you know, some people were like me and they go, oh yeah, that's great. And other people are horrified. And their hair is standing up on end, and then they're going like, how can you do that to somebody's webpage? You can't take out their ad. And then, of course, I started to think about the idiocy of not being able to alter our DVDs, right? We can't, you know, like, say you want to, you know, all the stuff about doing mashups of DVDs. So, have people looked into like, do we own the web content that is appearing in our browsers?
Yes. I'll as eloquent as Steve can talk about it. The first thing when
I'd like to be able to answer people when they ask that. They don't want to ask a question back. I think it would be nice to have that really clear, or to know if is this going to be a guerrilla war. That's fine too. I don't mind.
And again, I'll let Steve and Phil answer as well. But it's my understanding in that the precedent's been set with pop-up blockers. Consumers can say, yes, I want to see that. No, I don't want to see that. And I was going to say, as eloquent as Steve told me the first time I said that, I said, can you really do that? And Steve said, dude, that's my internet. Craig?
I mean, have we had legal opinions on it?
The answer is yes.
Actually, on this question of, you know, when you get a bunch of cards firing, different rules firing, this is a good. I don't think we have that quite licked. We had some discussions about having it so that in the browser Chrome there could be a pop-up and it would show you which of your cards were firing on it, because you know people are going to have a lot of cards, a lot of rules. So one thought we had was pop up and show the person, so they did a really quick and easy way to turn off, because the user is always completely in control. So it's never going to be, oh, I can't control it. And quite the opposite. The whole point of this technology is to put the person in control. But I do think we need to work on the user interface a little bit to make it really easy to see and understand, and make it really quick and not annoying.
And the selector namespace is flat right now. It's going to have to be hierarchical, so you can organize your cards into groups and types and, you know,
Right, categories and things, yeah.
No hierarchy.
Well, I'm not sure if they completely answered your question.
Maybe, can I take a shot at that?
Steve, take over.
I think there's actually a couple of interesting things to think about. I think we talked a little bit about the legality implications yesterday, and if you look at ad blockers, if you look at the public API that Google supplies for Gmail with Grease Monkey, I wouldn't quite call it a safe harbor, but there's very strong case law when you are moving around content and maybe rearranging content, where I think it's fair to say you're probably in this safe harbor. When you are replacing content, such as in the Skull Crusher example, as Mr. Cameron so eloquently puts it, I think you're out of that safe harbor, and so you could get a cease and desist order. It's not clear, right? There's uncharted territories, I think, for all of us in this regard. Couple of other things to think about. Can I put tail fins on my BMW? It's mine. We do it. And along those regards, right, so now you're creating a browser, you're working in the DOM, you're creating this HTML. I mean, ultimately, it's data. So you're telling me if Phil's going to write a browser, I, as Land's End, can compel him to display it the way I want? Huh? So that there's a problem there. So technologically, it's silly to think otherwise than I have control. Now, legality, as you pointed out, Kim, is something altogether different. But the Electronic Freedom Foundation is spent a lot of time on this issue. As a matter of fact, they're fighting the specific issue now. So there's John, you've thought a little bit about this too. I don't know if you want to share anything on it.
We'll do a white paper.
Okay, very good.
And it is a federal crime to put tail fins on a BMW. That I know. It's precedent for that.
Okay, we're going to take one last.
Not a chance you're getting me done with
We're
that.
going to take one last question, and then we're going to wrap up.
This would be more of a comment to Kim's point, which is that it's possible to do, right? But as we start altering web pages, then the developers of those pages. Oh, you got a mic? Oh, put it right close to your mouth. Right close to my mouth. It's not working. Hello? Oh, you didn't mention that part. Okay, is this better?
It'll come on. It'll come on. Try it again. Go ahead.
Booting up, it's running Windows.
There you go.
All right, good.
I'm just kidding. So yeah. So basically, what ends up happening though is even if the customer ultimately has control of how he views a web page, the developers of that page, of course, want you to have a certain kind of experience. So if they see you interfering with that, they'll start using things other than HTML that are either compiled or whatever they may be, like or pictures or whatever, to ensure that the message is conveyed the way they intended it. So what you're going to scare people into a situation, right? And I think you were even hinting at this, Kim. That was that you might escalate some kind of situation in which people rely more on Flash, JPEGs, or whatever it may be. And we've already seen this happen on the internet, basically, where even the legality of the thing is only partly what's interesting. What's interesting is what is the likely reaction of the content developer, right? That's all I have to say.
Right behind you.
Right, well, just in closing, let me talk, Doc mentioned Vince Cerf yesterday, and I was reading where Vince said, if he could do TCP/IP all over again, he'd put identity in there, because that's one of the major areas it's missing. I think all of this rises to that level of sophistication, and when it's cross-site, browser, mobile, one of the things, I forgot whose blog post, but they said, if you give people what they want that they've never had before, using new technology, you're probably looking at a winner. I think this meets that watermark. Context-driven, with all the interest and intent, and at the very end of it, which is, I think, truly revolutionary and the identity revolution that is upon us, is the individual consent-based revolution. No matter what we think of, well, what's this company going to think? When you see it and you say, I want that, there's something magical about that. And finally, a lot of people say consumers, customers. I like saying people, and people are the center of the universe, and that's what all this around. So thank you for your time.